All right, so for those of you who were with us last time, we were trying to make our little guy walk to a place, and over the last 2 days, we've done it.
Nice.
It's building a path, and I think the path, since I'm off a point, it actually jumps to like the nearest tile coordinate first. So it
Uh-huh.
kind of looks like he hops out the back of the tank on this one.
Right.
But it's much more fun when it's moving around big objects like this.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this.
And I like how he does like Manhattan style walks. He's just like
Is that
he
the
can't
yeah?
he can't go diagonal.
We should probably put diagonal in here. It's interesting. I feel like there could be a better algorithm where once you find a clear path, you actually don't want to walk tile straight or diagonal, but you want to walk like a vec2 directed at the point. But you can't. I don't know how you'd optimize it for that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, because we're quantized to individual tiles, right?
Yeah.
So even if it was diagonal, I mean, right now the pilot's stuck to 90-degree turns.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's diagonal, that repertoire would be expanded to just like 45 degrees, which is not great, right?
It'll be better, but yeah, it'll still look awkward.
I'm trying to think. I was actually thinking about this problem off stream, and what I got a little bit stuck on is that I wanted to know if there's a way of partitioning the map in a way in basically contiguous squares that aren't obstructed by walls, and if that was a way that you could construct the graph that the search basically the pathfinder goes over, but that gets a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I wonder if we had if we had a better, maybe a easier to access collision system. I feel like you could actually take, once you find a completed path, just take every set of points and try to draw an unobstructed line between them. So you could sort of take your step path that you know is clear, and actually, if you can, yeah, maybe there's something to that. It'd be hard to figure out how to get the collision in there correctly, but I feel like you could maybe take the path and reduce it into fewer steps once you have a clear route.
Yeah, you could binary search, right? If you had the clear route, you could start by, like, if it was totally clear and you had direct line of sight to the very end, I guess you could just try that first, right? And then see if there's anything in your way, and you would just basically head that direction.
Yeah, maybe it actually is sort of an extension of our, what is our turret? Is it the shooter that does line of sight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, what do you want? Sure. Yeah, maybe it's an extension of actually this, where once you have your path, you actually do a little line of sight calculation on the points you have and see what you can get to. And yeah.
Hey Dom, for the purposes of the stream, do you mind bumping up your font size one notch?
Oh, I do not. How's that?
It looks good. I have a very luxurious 27-inch panel right now, so like I like everything looks good. Even the notch lower than this was fine, but I think when it's streaming 1080p on Twitch, it's probably a little bit small. That's all.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at this on a luxurious. I guess I'm looking at this at like 20 inches, since it's a chunk of my screen is Windows and a chunk is my laptop on my Windows. So
right.
Who knows? But yes, happy to go bigger.
Cool.
So yeah, let's pop open this Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And see what we got. And yeah, as you pointed out, I kind of I picked a strange score function.
Untraditional. I don't actually know. I wonder if we made more complicated mazes, if it would start to get a little bit confused, right? It would take a little bit of reasoning to figure out where, because I think what you were doing was originally the score, or is it currently? Can we scroll to the cost function where
Absolutely, yeah.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah, it's still sorting by distance from destination node, which.
And this is like as the crow flies distance.
Yeah,
right.
Correct. And I can definitely imagine how this could be screwed up.
Yeah.
So actually, let's update that because you sent me a better one in the repo. Alerts. I just type alerts into my bar now.
Me
that's
too.
all that.
It's great. I have it bookmarked, and so most browsers are kind of like smart about like looking at your bookmarks first, right?
I should use bookmarks, really.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring this. We'll go half and half on this one. Okay, so right, Dijkstra score. It turns out that in fact I don't even use score in this algorithm at all. I just calculated it.
Oh,
right, exactly. Okay, so we'll make our new score node.a.score, and our constant can be 1 for now. Oops. And then node b equals score.
Right. And then because we're sort of right now mixing apples and oranges, I think we want score to be in pixel units the same way that distance is in pixel units. So
good news. It is. Oh, sorry. Pixel units, not tile units.
Yeah. So I think maybe rather than score everywhere it says score +1 right now, it probably should be score plus
tile size.
Tile size. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That seems very reasonable.
And because your current thing like sort of works or does work for the things that we've tested, we might need to try to fool it somehow. And that means we need to come up with mazes where like there are multiple ways to get to a particular point, and the obvious line of sight one is not the right one. That's basically that would be the test. So we do kind of have to do a little bit of like reverse engineering, but I'm guessing what we just did. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be interesting to try to visualize this too. It still works. So it's not broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to visualize the search space somehow. Because I think I kind of just throw that out, but we have it. Yeah, it's this .nodes will be our search space where we have all the data, so we could actually try to render that onto the screen in debug mode.
Yeah, totally could.
Yeah, and then we could try to make an antagonistic map.
Right.
Let me see if there's anything else in here. This I know. Isn't this just the dumbest syntax?
Yeah, for folks that can't really tell what's going on there, the issue is that the previous line 93 has an array access, and in order to convince the JavaScript interpreter that we're not talking about nested arrays, we have to add that semicolon there.
And I couldn't even put it. I couldn't put it there.
Oh yeah.
You can't wrap it in parens because it becomes like a method call.
Yeah.
You gotta have the semicolon.
It's almost an argument to put semicolons everywhere, but then that's like cutting off your nose to spite the face a little bit.
No, I like when I can use it exactly one time to sort of like tell it actually no, we're good here.
Yeah.
So what if instead of this we passed our score functions in here and we could add diagonals while we're at this?
Oh yeah, you're saying. I see what you're saying. So basically, yeah.
I just got a tuple here.
Yeah.
And I started out writing this 4 times and then reduced the function into something a little simpler. So let's see, x -1, y -1, and what is 24
Math
times
dot squirt 2.
2 times 24?
No, it's a constant actually. I don't know if you saw that in there. All caps QR. Yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's see. -1 is northwest. Comma back. Oh, this guy's about to start walking in funny angles.
I like it.
Yeah, this is northeast. No, wait. Yeah, that is northeast. Do southwest and southeast. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that's cool. Nice.
Did he
I think
just kind of go around the corner there?
No, I don't think so. So imagine we've got our perfect grid, right?
Yeah.
So he's walking from this space to this space.
Yeah.
And he crosses the corner. So it definitely looks like it.
Right.
I'm kind
That
of
may
okay with
be a
that.
case where we can. It looks funny. That may be a case where we shouldn't treat that node as being there. So like the condition on line 108 might need to be a little bit more complicated for those types of situations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because we're looking, when we get to this space, we're looking at this and saying, oh, it's a wall. But actually, maybe we want to look at the diagonal neighbors to that wall too. And the same here where we see this. But yep, okay.
Yeah, it's a little trickier for the diagonals, actually. So we kind of, the extra logic that we're about to add should only apply to the diagonals, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're on your current tile and you're moving in any of the cardinal directions, there's no extra things you need to check except what's on line 108 already, right? You just need to check that the tile that you're stepping into is not a wall. That's a constant.
So it's interesting because it's sort of an or score is, or we're on a diagonal and some ridiculous, yeah.
So what if in our line 95 to 102, rather than typing in the score, it's a true or false whether it's diagonal, and then you can assign the score inside the loop based on that value.
That makes sense. True. Oops.
And then for that if statement that starts on line 108, is there anything below? Is there like an else, or is this literally the last expression of the for loop, that whole if block?
That's it.
Okay, so one thing we could do is we could say if line 108 to 110, reverse the Boolean of that, like we say that it's equal to the wall, we could continue or return. And that would say like we're stepping into a wall. And then we could have a separate thing that says if it's diagonal and we check the diagonal stuff and we are stepping through a diagonal thing, also return. Is that it?
Let's see. So you were saying that.
And that's a return, I think, because we're in a for each. We're in a lambda right now.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Why is my NX unhappy here? Oh, really?
Oh
my god. Hang on. I just need to give this a number.
Oh yeah. Maybe you know what it is that the I think the creation of it. Oh, so here's how we can get rid of our semicolon: is we have to just say const neighbors equals that tuple array, right?
Yep. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I was just enjoying my.
And that typing, that explicit typing needs to happen. Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Number.
With an extra open square bracket, close square bracket at the end of it.
Yep, it's an array. Thank you. Right, add diagonals. We did it. Okay, cool. So this one is great. Yeah, it wants to be on that line. Yeah. And then, so you're saying if diagonal, we want to check.
We want to check. Okay, so this is tricky. Actually, we need to know
the previous.
Yeah, we need to know what relative. So, how does this work? Let's say you're on. Let's say you're moving to the northwest, right, to the -1, -1.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going in that direction, then you care about the west and the north tile, right?
So
if you're going to the northwest, you care about the tiles.
About west and north, yeah.
Yeah, if either of those are walls, you shouldn't be able to make that move directly, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if you're going to the southwest, you care about the south and the west tile. If you're going to the northeast, you care about the north and the east tile. So this is a little trickier, right? Maybe we need to actually enumerate those in the example as well. Like which are the things that other things that we care about, or we can do some relative calculation inside the loop.
We can at least pop out these coordinates.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's very interesting. I guess right, because we want north wall, south wall, yeah. Okay. And then we have to actually calculate all that out. Yeah. And it'd be nice if we knew. We're not even going to know what we are unless we have some string in here that says northwest, south. So we don't have anything to switch on, but it'd be nice if we did.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, actually, you know what? There might be something general that we could say that maybe encompasses line 109 through 111 as well. Which is to say that if we are moving.
Well, hang on. If we're moving this way, oh yeah, if we block on either of those walls, that'd be bad.
So
yeah.
What I was going to say is that what we could say is that what if 95 through 102, rather than it being x and y -1, it's we track that as the delta. So it's 0 -1 0 1 -1 0 1 0, and then what we would say is that if the change in x is positive, we care about the east wall. If the change in x is negative, we care about the west wall. If the change in y is positive, we care about the south wall. If the change in y is negative, we care about the north wall. And we do all of those. We do the east-west motion and the north-south motion in separate conditionals. And that would neatly encompass the diagonal motion or the cardinal direction motion as well. Does that kind of make sense?
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And then really the whether it's diagonal or not is whether if both of those are non-zero, right? If we could just say, we don't even have to include the Boolean there. If we just say if dx and dy are both not equal to 0, then the score should be math square root times 24 or something like that.
That's yep. Okay, and then these are I like dx. I'm gonna switch to that so I see which variables I haven't updated yet.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna let TypeScript fail that for me. Dx not equal to 0 and dy not equal to 0. So let's see. Then this becomes x plus dx, y plus dy. Cool. And actually, I'll just grab this for diagonal because we might use it again. Actually, we might not. This is maybe not happening.
Yeah.
So let's see. So you're saying if dx less than 0 and dy
Oh, I don't think you have to check X and Y at the same time. I think what you can say is just like check X. If X is less than 0, then you care about the west wall.
Okay. Then you know what? I do want diagonal because we're only going to enter this if we're in diagonal, right? Because normally we wouldn't.
Oh,
we wouldn't be stepping right.
Yeah. What I was actually going to say is like you can get rid of line 109, or we can basically you take a version of this and basically say if you're going left, then you care about the west wall.
I see.
Else, so if you're going right, you care about the east wall. And then in a separate if-else block, you say if you're going north, you care about the north wall. If you're going south, you care about the south wall. And that'll take care of all of your cases. It'll take care of your cardinal directions. It'll take care of your diagonals as well.
If we're going left, but wait, so we've ended. We're looking at our neighbors now, and we're choosing not to add. We're saying that if the point is here,
yep,
we're looking at our neighbor here and saying, "Oh, you're definitely a wall. We're not going to add you to the search space."
You know what? I think I know what you're saying.
This has to exist because this is for the next loop.
Yeah. Let me illustrate what I was saying and why it's wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I was saying is like, I don't know if this is going to work, but basically you're here, this is the starting position, and then this is west. Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. How do I is there a way I can make the painting stay?
Yeah. There's a tuple setting.
How about can I type? Can I type on your screen? Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I'll give you a new terminal.
Okay, so here's what
I was gonna say. Look at this. Persist paint until right click is the tuple key.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I type now? I think it's the pointer here. There we go.
Uh-huh.
So I think what I was saying is like, let's say this is the position of the pilot, and then this is north.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you one space just so it's a little bit easier to see. That's east. I have to like think about what letter it is.
I know, right?
Okay, mm-hmm. So that's kind of like what the possibilities are. So if you are checking if you're only checking like the eastern neighbor, mm-hmm. What I was saying is that like basically if we're going to this is basically the direction that we're moving, then you just need to check the eastern spot. But you also need to check the eastern spot if you are moving to the northeast tile. Like if you're going, mm-hmm. If that's your target, you need to check both this and this, right?
Oh wait, I'm wrong.
Well,
you're right.
Well, I think you're right too, because what I was saying is that I made the claim that we could take care of everything by saying like if you're moving east, check the eastern tile. Else, if you're moving mm-hmm. west, check the western tile. And then in a mm-hmm. separate if-else ladder, I was saying if you're going north, check the northern tile. And if you're going south, else if you're checking south or going south, check the southern tile. Full stop. But that's actually not correct, because you still need to check the diagonal tiles if you are moving diagonally, right? You still need to say, because that's the one that you're actually moving into.
Right, and that's what this check is. It's saying, yeah, okay. It's looking at the destination saying, are you a wall? So, okay. Cool.
So I think it's a combination of both of the things that we were both saying.
I think we're right. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks.
Collectively, we are correct.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So that means I can scope this to diagonal. So if so, let's see. This diagram is actually very helpful. So let's see. If we're greater than 0, we're moving east.
Yeah.
And then we want. But I really miss like some good Ruby one-liner return if blank.
Yeah.
Okay, so gosh, this is How do we get this value? What is the deal with this? So we actually need to, if we're moving, this is assuming we're going this way. Our P0 and P1 coordinates are that. We need that. Oh, but everything's an offset now. So we can do, yeah, okay, great. Oops, that's X. So this is X plus 1. So we are just explicitly checking east. And it's nice because it lines up with greater than 0. Okay, cool. I'm actually inclined to say, I'm going to just put that in there.
Yeah.
Oh, suddenly you work. Okay. And then it's just write this 4 times. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's -1, this actually is super easy, and maybe we could parameterize this in a nicer way. It's basically run the same thing as a loop with offsets, huh?
Yeah. One other way that we could do this to reduce the number of things is we could say if dx is not equal to 0, then we could check that long expression, and then at the very end it would be px plus dx, right? And then the same thing on the y-axis as well.
Oh, dude. Yep. Thank you. Because we're automatically into, yeah. That I feel fine writing twice. Ix plus dx dy. Brilliant.
Yeah, and then I actually think that line 117 and line 1 to line 130, the stuff inside the if diagonal, those are always true, actually. So you could actually pull them out and then only do the check on line 109 to 114 if it's diagonal. Does that make sense? Because it's actually the check from line 109 to 114 where you're adding both dx and dy because they're both non-zero.
Right.
I don't know what's easy. We pick the thing that's easier to reason about, as always, I think.
These numbers are nonsense, by the way. Shit.
Oh yeah, because it's just because we have to index into the single array, right? It's a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too. It's not P0.
What is P again? Oh yes, it's not P. It's P of X, right? Or P of Y.
Right. And this is P0.
Oh, I actually don't think that P matters here, right? P doesn't matter. P is
the important thing about P is that it's
relative to the origin.
Yeah, so we're going from like a point. It's the only way it works. Yeah.
Okay, I see. What if P instead was our current position, and that might make it easier to think about, right? So instead of adding, it's going to break 110 to 114, but we can rewrite that.
Right. Right. Okay. Because actually, we're just doing our Yep. Right. That becomes that, and it was already in the vector as an addition. It's not. This wasn't like a scale or anything.
Right.
Okay, cool. So now that works. Math, man. Okay. Cool. And wait, okay, and you were saying that these two cases cover this. And I think
for cardinal directions they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you saying for diagonal they don't? In fact, we only want to run this if diagonal? Yeah.
Diagonal just means that you're going right. It basically, I think what we're saying is if both dx and dy are non-zero, then we want to add both dx and dy and check that tile as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is this?
Yeah.
Neat. Okay.
Yeah. And I do wonder if it may even be clear if we do like a let score equals 24, and then we essentially get rid of the diagonal intermediate and then just stick that. And then we assign score above the if statement on line 126 if it's diagonal. And we can just label that with a comment saying this is the diagonal case or something. Because now when you look at it, line 124 tells you care about dx and dy inside the logic there somehow. And lo and behold, on line 129, dx and dy show up. That's like a nice kind of parallelism there.
Yeah. Diagonal.
Right.
Digging it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that actually seems like it works. Okay, let's see. Hang on. What was NX in the first place?
The position of the neighbor position. So I think it's just x plus nx, x plus dx, x plus dy, something like that.
Oh, because these are in my... Yeah, these are in tile coordinates. Great.
Yeah.
Boy, someone does this a lot. Previous is xy. That's correct. Ooh, it did it. Neat.
In fact, it's not trying to hug the wall at all anymore, right?
No, because that's not the shortest path.
That option isn't there anymore. What happens if you try to go to the turret from here? Interesting.
Yep, makes a hard right, which it should.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I like that.
Cool.
That feels pretty good. Let's see. We've got the score function here. We're doing diagonals. Boy, this is one cool A star.
Yeah, man.
It was fun. All right, let's.
I used to be super intimidated by this algorithm.
Really?
Oh yeah, very much. I had to. I mentioned on the stream a long time ago that I do this thing called Advent of Code every year, where it's like in December there's all these little programming puzzles. And in the past few years, the author of that has become very, very fond of A star or Dijkstra's algorithm, basically just like shortest path stuff. And it was only after implementing it like 3 or 4 times in various ways that I was like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. It's not as hard as I thought it was, but I guess that's practice, I suppose.
Yeah, I had to kind of start at the top with the Wikipedia pseudocode, and there was a bunch of extra variables that I kind of threw out along the way. Because it was like, oh yeah, you have a heap. And I'm like, I don't have a heap. There's a whole lot of sets I don't have.
I don't know if you find this, but I find that Wikipedia technical articles to be quite difficult to understand. I think they're written for people who already know what the thing is. you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I thought I already knew what the thing was, but I definitely didn't.
Yeah. But I don't know, after writing it for the game, I mean that's why we're going through the motions of doing this stuff, right? Is now we have like a much more intuitive notion of why this stuff works, right?
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. I like how simple this very complex algorithm is.
And then A star is like again like just a way to shorten the runtime so that we're not like searching the whole friggin' like space. because Dijkstra will happily search behind you.
Yeah, which just a waste of time, right? Like, why bother? So let's see.
What is
Do you want
that
to
extra little circle there? Is that
Oops.
from tuple on your cursor? Do you see that or
that extra little circle?
The blue circle next to the cursor. I don't think you see it. I think only I see it, maybe through tuple.
Yeah, I got no blue circle.
Okay.
I can make purple dots appear.
Yeah. There's a little blue circle that's like always slightly offset from the
that's awkward.
The white square. I think it must be like where tuple thinks the cursor is. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
As I say, the motion feels a lot less awkward when it just runs on a diagonal now. So I actually feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do any tweening or like, strange.
Okay, so you don't want them to like walk at like a 17-degree angle then, or anything like that.
No, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. It's not taking the most direct path to where he could go, but
could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what should we do?
Okay. Well, there's a couple things that we could do. I would say making him return to the tank would be really cool. But that means we'd have to run the pathfinding at least more than once, right?
Yep. That's so one of the things I added to the pilot entity, specifically on the destination, or rather, maybe the pilot system is more interesting for this. But part of it is that I think I cleared the destination. I deleted the destination. Yeah, once we got there, I was just like, you know what? You've reached it. You no longer have one. And I thought this is an interesting way to approach the system because we're going to want to add more destinations once we get here. We do want to go back. So you were saying in Slack, right, the return pathfinding is really challenging because it's like, well, if the player is moving, how do you get back to it?
Right, if the tank is moving, yeah.
That's an excellent question.
Well, the architecture right now is as soon as you right-click, the path is set in stone, right? It calculates the path for you right then and there. But another way that we could architect this is that you store the destination with the pilot somewhere, which I think we already do.
We do, yeah. The pilot gets a destination.
And then basically every frame, he's recalculating his path the entire time, right? Because he knows all you need is the destination and his current position, which you have both of those. And if you're recalculating constantly, it's expensive, and we need to deal with that when that becomes a problem. But it also gives you the advantage of responding to things that happen after the path is originally created. So one example of that is if you destroy a wall. Oh, we're not actually sensitive to wall destruction yet at all, right? So that's sort of a complicated question.
Right, you could like blow a hole for your pilot as he's going, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could change path, right? Or someone could like lay a turret down, right? Because eventually what we want the pilot to do is like lay walls down and turrets down, right?
I was gonna say it's worse than that because he still sees the wall there. So it's not even Okay. Wait, how do we fix?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
What did I do wrong?
Oh, basically, the map that you're using.
I'm looking at the map.
The initial state of the map, and it's not reflective of. What's actually processing or collision, right? So,
but we don't have a pointer into, or the entities aren't stored by coordinates. They're just stored in a list.
Yeah. So. I think, again, like until that's a problem, what we could do is anytime we need like a live state of the walls in the game, we just iterate over all the entities, find the walls, pull their transforms off, and there's your list of walls, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We could do that. I think I'm more interested in having him come back though.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess That will be annoying when we're laying down more walls and you can't actually see the wall you just drive through the wall you've already laid. So
the thing about the walls getting created or destroyed was a tangent off of the original thing, which is just how we structured this. And we're getting to a point where like we are wanting the pilot to be kind of a state machine, right? Because like he's going to be going to the destination, presumably doing something while he's there, and then switching to a mode where he's going to like want to run back to the tank, right? So I think our destination component probably should end up being the pilot component. I think that's probably what it is, because we're going to want to add stuff to it. We're going to want to add a flag that says, oh, you already did. Yeah.
What's that? Oh, the path. The path gets stored.
Yeah.
Because it had to get passed in through make, and it had to go somewhere, and this is just an entity, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see other things that might have destinations, but it does feel like pilots right now. Though, I mean, if we're thinking of an enemy tank, the destination might be like the player.
Yeah, it's almost as if the destination is either like a point on the screen, or it's an entity ID, right?
That's interesting.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. Do we have a type for entity ID, or is that just?
It's just a string.
Oh, great. Nope. Right, so it's like you get one of.
Yeah, or you could call it target, and it is the union type of vec2 or string, something like that. And then we would probably want to use a comment to explain exactly what that means, but like.
Yep. Either a map position or an entity ID. Yeah. And then let's see, target, vec2 or string. I can't believe TypeScript just works sometimes.
Yeah.
This is fine, actually. Great. Okay, so that's really interesting. So we've created our pilot. This is created with destination. And the interesting thing is that what if we wanted to create it with both? Like, it comes back. How do we know when we're done?
Right, and then we need to know to destroy the, we need a notion that it is on its way to the first target and then on its way back. And so maybe destination is too general a component name, and we should just call it what it is, which is the pilot, right?
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah.
Then we don't have to have that awkward union type anymore. We can say that the target is always the initial target's always going to be a position. It's going to have an entity ID of who it's returning back to, and then it's going to also have a state, which is an enum of whether it's going towards the target or returning back to the player, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Pilot gets a pilot. All right, and this should be, this is entities pilot / pilot. Goodness, I'm gonna have to restart my server because it hates when you rename files. Yeah, it's
the file rename thing. Actually, I found. I just got an emergency text from my sister saying that she made beignets, and she's asking if we want dessert. And I'm responding to her in capital letters. YES.
Damn right, you want beignets.
Yes.
Now, what does she mean by beignets? I have a lot of opinions about this particular subject.
Yes. I imagine as someone who hails from New Orleans, you have thoughts. This is like COVID-19. My sister's an excellent home cook, and she's like become quite a proficient sourdough chef. But I don't know if she has like for beignets you need like the right flour, right? Like there's a special flour that you need for those things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think you just got to deep fry it, right? It's got to be deep fried.
Tell me about beignets.
Well, all right. I went to Brenda's in the city last week and had a really disappointing beignet. It was like just a hunk of fried dough, but it was like a piece of fried bread, and a beignet should be like mostly air in the middle.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was like it was so solid all the way through. I was just like, this is no beignet. It was covered in powdered sugar, and I got it all over myself, which is like half the experience, but the other half was no fun.
I mean, they're very donut adjacent, right? Because donuts, I think, in their optimal form, are also deep fried, right?
I think it must be like you do a thinner piece of dough than a donut, and like it really puffs up in the fryer. Versus like donuts, like you kind of throw in something that's not too dissimilar to the shape you pull out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah,
Right.
strong opinions, you know. But I'm excited for you because even bad beignets are amazing beignets, and your sister's gonna make amazing beignets. So clearly,
What do you think about like a dipping sauce for beignets? Is that a thing, or like?
California really wants it to be.
Is it like melted chocolate, or is it like a jam of a compote of some kind? Like, what is the?
I've been served all of these things, and
Okay.
it's a very interesting choice. Maybe
Got
it's the original French. Maybe I'm the charlatan who doesn't know the true
you have a
history of
very
the beignet.
kind of like polite Creole kind of like gentility about this. You're not offended or anything like that.
It's still sweet and delicious. What does offend me is when the beignet is like crusted in crystal sugar and has like a crunchy sugar shell.
Yeah.
Because like that's a donut.
Well, I don't know. Even a donut like that. I guess there are donuts with the crystal sugar, like the fine. It's not powdered sugar, but it's kind of like the fine confectioner sugar kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's not like a glaze. It's like you get sugar crunch.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I think the glaze is the way to go with the donut.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Powdered donuts, weirdly, I'm not as into. You know, the kind of like a Entenmann's powdered donut box or Hostess powdered donut box.
Oh, I kind of love those, but it's like a special kind of like garbage food.
I think what it is, it kind of feels like I'm eating a mouthful of starch. It's just.
It is that.
Okay. Well, I don't mean starch as in the grain starch. What I mean is like like cornstarch, the kind of like powderiness of it.
My mochi always come out with way too much cornstarch on them, and I kind of just have to like you have to like eat through it to get to the mochi, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is worth it, but like,
So
ugh.
you know my pain. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a frequently make people suffer through that to eat a mochi, and I'm.
But
sad
I feel
about it.
like the thing about the beignets, it's like it's always fresh, right? It's coming
Mhm.
straight out of the fryer. So the powdered sugar is gonna be dusted on just so, and it's gonna be
Well, and specifically if you're making them and you're taking them to go, the powdered sugar is served separately, and you sugar it because you don't want like soggy powdered sugar beignets.
Oh yeah, because like the powdered sugar would probably be like a desiccant, right? It would like draw out the moisture.
Yeah, exactly. Like and like the moisture draws out is actually like oil, so it gets gooey and
Right. Yeah.
it's not a good thing.
Okay, well, I have beignets in my future.
I'm
Maybe
so excited
we can
for
do
you.
a quick beignet review once it gets here, and then my sister will find our YouTube channel and then give me hell over the phone.
I can't review them, so
Oh,
you'll be setting up your you'll be digging as much of a grave as you would like to.
yes. I would love if we had like an entity ID type alias, but I'm not sure how much mileage we would get.
I know, right? If we could do like some pattern matching and actually store things like TypeScript won't do what I want it to do.
One of the big problems is that you want to have hash tables, or at least basically JavaScript objects, where the key is an entity ID, and you can't do that in TypeScript. It complains. It's like you can't use aliases and keys, which is dumb. It's dumb. TypeScript. Anders Shellberg.
Oh gosh.
That dude who makes TypeScript, or like the Anders on the TypeScript team, is incredible. Like, I think he wrote Turbo Pascal, and it was like a tiny, tiny piece of software that like implemented like a full programming language that was like better than everything. And I think he also is basically the chief architect of C# as well. So quite the resume, right?
Man, Microsoft has some smart people over there. I'm very comfortable in the notion that I'll never be someone who will create a programming language. It's like way too much work.
Oh, I badly want to make a programming language. It's like kind of one of my life goals. Yeah, certainly.
You're following MCC on Twitter, right? Andy McClure?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because she is like, I followed her, I met her when she was like in the middle of making her own game programming language, and like she got real into it, and there were some really cool tweets, so.
Yeah, Bob Nystrom as well, right? Like, there's something about like in the indie game people online. They like making their own languages too.
It must be, yeah. Indie game people must be like, they see Lua and they're like, nah, I could do better, and then they kind of do.
Well, I don't know, because it does kind of seem like Andy McClure is just a pure Lua at this point, right? She's like a Lua master.
Maybe she decided. I think her language is called Emily. Maybe she decided that Emily was to be no more.
Yeah.
Oop! It's the time of the day when the raycasting starts coming through my window.
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh! Now I'm very overly ringlit. There we go. Huh. I'm gonna have to get some automated shades to do that timed with the sundown. Next hardware, smart home stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I've added enum to the pilot. You have a better word than journeying.
It would just be like move to target, move to host. I guess that would be the other things I would.
That's so smart. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see. So we've got that. The entity is fine. Here we probably want to make it with the player, and we have access to that here. So we'll take a host string. And then when we make this, we'll say, do we have player? We totally do.
Yeah.
g.player.unwrap.id. Oops. Okay, cool.
The more I think about it, the more I want to get rid of the maybes or the options.
Yeah, you getting tired of seeing unwrap?
Well, it's not so much that like I don't like I'm actually just not sure how much value add it adds over being able to do question mark and exclamation point, right? And those are in the language, right?
Right, because this is the same as exclamation point. Like it'll crash if I.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, really, somewhere earlier in this code, we should, return if no player, right? Like, we should have wrapped this in a g.player map or something.
Yeah, or I'm not really sure. You're asking actually like a very interesting question that's complicated because like, what does it mean for the pilot to even exist if there's no player anymore?
That's a good point.
Yeah. And maybe that's actually something that a higher level of business logic should be managing, so that this code shouldn't even execute because of that, right? It's almost not even this code's business to care, right? It should not know where the player is. It should not care that the player. It should basically assume that the player exists all the time, right?
Right. That's very interesting. Okay.
Although I don't know, like when would the player ever be removed from the entity list? Probably never, right? Even if it's dead. Well, we do remove it from the entity.
We do remove it when it dies. Yeah.
And in fact, it might be slightly anti-pattern that we keep it a separate pointer, right? Like, oh, this is awesome. We're back to making art. I love it.
Oh yeah, the this thing is truly wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost wish mouse up. I kind of just want to stream pilots as many as possible.
Okay, well,
it's going to be
just do it to mouse down. Just change it to mouse down.
Oh god, is that really just there? Beautiful. Yeah. Oh wow. I'll have you know, this is just to my computer's working, but the game ain't.
I see.
I think I figured out how many Dijkstra's algorithms we can run at once. Wow, but it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. Good art.
The best art.
Okie dokie. The thing we were doing. Yeah, so in this state, this is actually cool. We can transition. I really like this a lot, actually. So we set you up with a path here. You go down the path, but instead we can actually, let's see, if we're in a different state, we can just tell it to recalculate the path right here and just do the pathfinder.
Exactly.
That's
and we
awesome.
have a pattern in the game update loop that basically does our state machine transition stuff, and we can just kind of bake it into this system as well.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Under the game class, the update has a pattern of how to do state transitions and stateful stuff.
Oh, right.
So the interesting thing is the entering of states here, which is this one. Basically, the idea is that probably when we go from moving to the target to moving to the host, we'd recalculate the path, right? And you'd only want to do that once, so that you do that in this sort of like special block here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we do want to actually, if we're in move to host state, we want to recalculate every loop, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Okay, yeah. So maybe it's not as important. It's not as important. To
it's like you switch into it and then you're calculating.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, let's keep it real simple.
Cool. Great. This will be interesting. Okay, so pilot equals. We're not going to toss it out. And actually, we're going to say if e dot pilot dot gosh. Like I'm just going to want that a lot. I'm saving one character. Dot state equals pilot state dot move to, what do I call it? Target. So if we've reached our target and we're out of points, I'm just going to export this. You can find it. You know it's there. Yeah. So in this case, we are going to set e.pilot.state equals pilot state dot move to host. We're not going to continue. Oops, that's a silly equals. Okay, so we've run out of points.
And
then I think it's actually just immediately this.
Right, we basically start calculating the path every frame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's say if we're returning to host, calculate every frame. And I wonder, like, it's interesting because the host has a transform and we know it, like, we know what it is and we could maybe store it. We could be like, has the host position moved?
Yeah.
But let's do it the simple way.
Okay, yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing, where essentially we cache the position where the host is, and if that is not equal to if what we cache is not equal to the host, the host's original, like, current position, then we recalculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm totally with you. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is cool. This player tile pause is actually going to be very helpful. Let's pull that up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's
in which case, maybe the idea that we keep the host ID is not a piece of state that we're ever going to use for now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I was I guess since we're player based, I was thinking other tanks would want to send stuff out too, and
Eventually, we
have.
will. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, do we want to factor for that ahead of time, or do we want to cross that bridge when we get to it?
I like putting it in now at least.
Okay.
At least we know we have to do it. But yeah, it does seem a little silly. So this tile, really, I probably just want to do this a bunch of times, don't I? To create vec2.scale. It's interesting because actually we need to calculate this live for the current transform of the pilot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is our source. Okay, let's vec2 tile.
I think we might have this somewhere.
It's in the map editor.
Is there a tile pause function under util? No. Tile capital P. Tile.
I was gonna say
tile
let's look in util first. Tile math, tile chords. Thank you. Great. I can make this whole thing a little simpler, huh? Yep.
It's a very familiar looking code. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I found it in the map editor. Oops. You're importing correctly. Great. Tile pause equals, wow, this is shockingly simple now. Cool.
That's just passing in the position. You don't need to 1 over tile size in there.
Yep, you're totally right. And in fact, I'm not even gonna, we only used this the once, so.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Okay, cool. And this is tile chords for e.pilot.transform.
Mm-hmm. Position, is it a full? Yeah.
Let's say it seems grumpy about something.
So, yeah. It's e.transform. E.transform, not e.pilot.transform.
Of course. That's a start.
Wait, did it make you put the exclamation point?
No, we already checked it, didn't we? Yeah.
We check it on line 32. Yeah.
Bingo. Pathfinder. Did I not call discover? I didn't call discover. Okay, this might work. Let's, you know what? I feel like I need to restart the server. I don't know why. I have that intuition.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That I did something that'll make it grumpy. Okay, so we go out. And the game just got a little slower, but we're not going back.
Hmm.
All right, well, let's do the simpler thing first.
Oh, is it because the path? I mean, the path should always be.
Yeah. So, oh goodness, something has actually crashed horribly here. Comes back. It comes back and doesn't know what to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair. Because if we're moved to host, we want to mark g.entities.mark for deletion e and return or continue. That is.
Yeah. Do we have the ID? I think it's just ID. It's just ID.
Yes.
It's
e.id.
Well, either way, we have ID from line 30, but e.id might be easier to clear.
No,
yeah,
I'm fine
either
with
way.
Either way. Great point. Okay. So now we will unregister our pilot. Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
This is actually super cool looking.
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I guess I wonder, are the paths exactly the same on the way back? They're probably not, right?
No, it calculated a different one. This corner totally takes a different route back.
I think it's just because we like prefer the clockwise cardinal directions. Like the neighbors are all kind of like plugged in always the specific order, right? And so
right, and then when it sorts them, it probably still sorts them into that order.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wonder too. Well, yeah. There's no reason for it to. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay. Oh, this is so silly. Cool.
It looks really cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this every frame thing. Let's bring this back in now. And it just gets stuck. It gets stuck, and there we go.
Yeah, it's just a little expensive to do the pathfinding, I guess.
That's a lot of pathfinding.
Are we maybe tile chords E dot transform position?
You know what it is? I think what's happening is like every time we get the position, the first node is like where the player is, or where the pilot is, and it's like, cool, I'm going to move to that. So it like starts moving to its own coordinate, and then we loop again, and it gets a position that's like, I'm going to keep moving towards like my own coordinate. So I think we keep. It's something like this, I think. But actually, I think we want to shift. I think we always just want to unshift one. Oh boy, I really killed my browser, huh? Let me see if this makes sense in terms of. Nope.
Well, we just want to call e.pilot.path shift on another line. I think that's probably what it is, because we don't want that assignment to happen there.
Oh, right, because then you get one. Yeah. Good point. I think. Yeah.
Oh, and then it crashed.
It crashes because it's like the last point. So maybe this is like if e.pilot.path.length greater than 1. And I think this is probably a flaw in my algorithm. Handing back the current point is strange. Can't catch me. Woo! Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, that totally worked. Yeah. I think we can worry about the factoring of this later, but probably what would simplify this a little bit is if we didn't try to do so much in the same frame.
You mean calculating every frame?
No. I think calculating every frame with caching is probably the right way to go. It's just that, like, I think I look at line 38 and 40 and line 62 and 64 as being sort of the same thing. And if there was a way to order this whole logic so that those were the same thing, it might end up clearing things up. But I'm not exactly sure what the factoring is yet.
Yeah. This is a tricky one, though, because imagine... Can I draw with tuple? I think I can draw with tuple, too. Give me my annotation. Nope. Fine. So, like, let's see. Imagine we get to this point, and we get a path back, but the first point in the path is where we are. So we step away. It's one of the problems is that the pathing locks you to the center of a tile. So I think once you step away, you're going to get another path that's like, hey, go back to the center of like the tile that you're in. But I think it'll jitter a lot.
Oh.
And I think that's actually what's happening when I take this out. Is I think it's sort of.
Oh yeah, I'm actually not saying that you should get rid of that. I think all I'm saying is that like,
Yeah. It's
I think what I'm saying is there might be it might be a way to like factor this a little bit differently so that but nothing's like jumping out at me quite.
Yeah.
I think I need to sort of sit down and think about it. Yeah.
I do wonder if maybe this becomes clearer if we cache the transform a little bit. Cache the player transform specifically.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because one thing I was thinking is that like it really should only like even if I'm holding down a button to move, it should only be recalculating like once every 100 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds. Like it should really try to reduce that as well. Actually, maybe that is even the first step here, which is that we can just not recalculate this every frame.
Yeah, we could even reuse the target variable, right? We could say that while you're moving to the target's not going to change. And then, I think that's a little bit confusing because like target has a meaning here, right? Target is like where the original thing is. So rather than try to like use the same variable again, maybe it's easier if we just like have a separate variable, which is like the host position cache or something like host pos or previous known host pos or something like that.
I see why you want to use target though. What if we rename this?
Well, like why would we reuse target? Because it's not like we're reusing. It's not like we're doing this recalculation when we're in the move to target phase, right?
What if this was, leaving host and returning to host or something?
Leave host and return to host.
Yeah, because then target becomes this just pointer to like where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then recalculating is sort of a non-issue. Oops. Rename symbol. Leave host. Return to host.
Perfect. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, I like that a lot, actually. Okay.
And then I think we just say if e.pilot.target does not, if it's not vec2 equals e.pilot.target, comma, player.transform.position, then set it to that and then recalculate, right?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, that's interesting. I think we can get away with that once, which is nice. And then I think we need to set this, and then we can mark for deletion. So we at least want to have a path before we do that.
Right.
So for returning the host, e.pilot.target equals. I mean, this could be. We could even use the host if we wanted, but let's just use player. And then
we may want to actually, because the key here is to know when to call line 50 to 53, because that's the expensive thing. And so what we want to do is have an if statement saying if we're in the return to host state and the pilot's target does not equal the player position, then we recalculate.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And pilot.target not equal to player tile pause.
And I think we needed a vec2.equals there. Not vec2.equals.
These are... Wait,
they're tough.
if I set a tile pause, am I doing the wrong thing? What was the original target? The target is a vec2 position. Yes. Okay, yeah. This is. Ugh.
I think
That's
the
goofy.
target is a world position, right?
Yeah, so this should also be a world position. Okay, great. Right, and then we'll just turn it into tile pause. Okay, cool. So let's see. So we've got, if we're doing that, we leave. If we're doing return to host, I think we should set. Well, here, yeah, I want to set this up so we recalculate the first loop through as well, which I think is what you're getting at too. If we're returning to host and the target is not the player, g.player.transform.position.
And we need to do the GL matrix like vec2.equals.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Now we are using the correct.
And not in front of that.
Yeah, but more
transform needs an exclamation point, I think.
Is that what it is?
Unfortunately.
I would have expected something to break the line on this. That's why I was kind of looking at it funny.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's probably, you know what, it's probably this stuff. Hang on, let's just, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if we're not pointing at the player,
then set it equal to that. So e.pilot.target equals. It's basically, this is our cache that tells us whether or not we need to recalculate, and then we do the recalculation. Yeah.
And let's see, we are targeting the tile chords of e.pilot.target. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's very clear. And then we get rid of lines 46 to 48, right?
We get rid of 46 to 48. Yes, that's correct. Let me get rid of that. And then this is just if we got nothing and we're going home. Yeah.
And do we still need to shift off the front of this line? You know how we did a e.pilot.path.shift? Does that need to also happen after line 54?
That's a really good question.
Because the first node in the path is the current position of the entity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Transform. I think it'll actually work if we're not recalculating every frame, because what's going to happen is that was unexpected.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, what the hell?
Did it? It definitely recompiled, right? It's not just
well, it's like I go here. Oh, you know what? Hey, that's a great question. Let's just be extra
that
safe.
behavior looks quite similar to interesting.
Okay. Well, let's at least make sure we're doing this. Hang on. If vec2.copy.
Interesting.
Because we did set it equal to that, and it's always equal to that, so it never recalculates, right?
Yeah. vec2.clone will do it without the extra.
Yeah. That's what I wanted.
That's going to be the source of not unending bugs for us, I think.
So here's where I should be unshifting, and then when I stop, it's like, cool, I can figure that out.
Yeah. So is it the case that pathfinder.discover is just returning an initial node that we shouldn't be?
I think very, very potentially, and I kind of wanted to explore that. This shift is necessary. This is like we've reached our point. Go to the next one.
Yes.
But I would love to explore. Yeah,
but that
having
probably happens every single time, right? It probably happens. It probably gets triggered the first time we run this for every single pilot, right?
So it's not. It's not that it's. It's that I'm like, if I'm off pixel, it's trying to return to the starting point, but constantly recalculating a move onto itself. It's not equal. It's like a couple pixels off of equal. Because this is like you really hit the point, right? Not
okay.
Not you're like within the tile. It'd be interesting actually if you're within the tile, do it too. That's potentially a nice addition.
Okay.
But I think we just shouldn't return this last this last thing. So let's see. While we're doing this, we do our searching through previous.
Where do we build up the path? Is that
it's right?
Okay, that's the only time. Okay.
Yeah, if we found our coordinate, we start our path with the current one, and then we iterate through nodes as long as we have it. So actually, wait a minute. This is the first thing we push on is
empty. Yeah, if that's just empty, what happens?
I think it just works. Oops. Huh. Fascinating.
I couldn't see what happened. The stream got a little bit choppy for me. It's still kind of stuttering, right? I see.
Yeah, and it's like it's more than stuttering. It's like oh, did you see that when I can you see it like jumping backwards? Let me see if I can make that happen. Yeah, that's the return to the coordinate that's messing it up.
Okay.
Why is that? I thought this would have fixed it. Because the first thing it adds is the previous node. That really should have.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is.
It almost stops as soon as you move, right? What if you don't move at all? If
I don't move at all, it's perfect.
Okay, it figures it out.
Yeah.
But somehow the act of recalculating it causes it to...
Oh, Jeff, I just noticed.
Yeah.
It's never going. It's not hitting my cursor anymore.
Oh, so do we need the first one?
This is not the first one. This is the last one.
Oh, I see.
This is where we want to go.
Oh, because we do path.reverse right there on line 66.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. So path.reverse. I mean, this could be. So wait, we want to drop. I hate reversing. We want to drop the last node, which is pop.
Right.
There we go.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
We should maybe document line 64. It's a little mysterious. Just so we remember why we did that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We could also do something. We have our start, so we could say if
well, node.prev and node.prev does not equal the start. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is a vec2. I just want to make sure I've got like a. Wow, we're not handing. What do we do with this from data? No, I guess we just stick it in as a tile coordinate. It must be.
What is prev, anyways? Is it?
Oh, prev is so my node map is score distance and then just the last coordinate.
Okay.
Which turned out to be really handy.
Mm-hmm.
So if node.prev vec2.equals from continue.
Okay.
Actually, we can we should just wrap this in the conditional. In fact,
I think we need a closing. We need a closing.
We need an else.
Parenthesis on line 61.
Oh, that too.
If node.prev equals the original spot, does that mean we're done?
Yeah, this should break.
So what if we actually just put that into the while? So like if node.prev and it doesn't equal the first thing. Does that make sense? So line 60.
Yeah. That does, I think.
Well, we still want to check node.prev because it could be null, right?
Yeah.
And then we can get rid of the pop, hopefully.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so this reads pretty well. This line 60 now is pretty clear. It's like we don't want to like include the starting position. Should we make them faster?
We should make the pilot a little faster, yeah, okay. Or the tank a little slower.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's interesting that like if the pilot's like just close enough, it doesn't catch up. That seems like maybe a little bit of like a we're not inside the tile yet kind of bug. Right. That seems like maybe that's just like maybe not even something we can solve with the speed because the pilot is actually right. It's reached it's faster than me. Yeah.
Is it? Or if yeah, it's faster than me.
I think what's happening is it's like satisfying the criteria, but then the pilot moves, the player moves a little bit away. So actually, we do a thing where the pilot can only move as far as the middle coordinate of the tile that it's supposed to go to, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so that's probably it, right? So the speed won't matter.
Yes.
Unless we change the catch-up criteria.
Maybe that's right, fine. Because it's you know what?
This strikes me as like a classic video game bug that like people just ship with, you know.
This could also we could put a distance check in here, like how far is the target from the player transform. If it's less than half a tile, just like call it. We have other ways to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to I think fix this particular.
I think our algorithm is fine though.
Yeah, this is great.
Boy, that's cool. Neat.
And then it would be really cool because like we can in the pilot system we can just have like an enum of stuff that it should do once it reaches its initial target, like harvest a tree or did it just get really choppy?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Pathfinding probably not cheap for 100 different reasons right now.
Yeah, we haven't really optimized this, have we?
Yeah, I'm sure there's not that many entities, which is funny, right? I wonder.
This doesn't have to do an entity search right now.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that it's actually like linear-ish in the distance to the target.
It might be the sorting that we're doing, right? Since we're resorting the pathfinding every single time. Like we're not using a priority queue, which is like log of n.
Oh yeah, this should have a huge red flag on it. This is bad.
Yeah. But I mean, logically, it makes total sense. It's just that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's ways to optimize it. I think debouncing this discover would help. We can make it click discover every, it'll only do this chunk every 100 milliseconds or something. Or
yeah. If we wanted to get super fancy, we could stick it in a web worker and have your other core do it. Right.
Yeah, man. If we were developing for the PS5, we'd have to really be using all our cores here.
Yeah. PS3 was like that. PS3 had the very infamous SPU system where you had a pretty weak CPU and then like 7, I think it was 7, but realistically only 5 other like mini cores.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
What was bad about that? Was it that nobody knew how to do multi-core programming when that came out? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the multi-core programming thing. The fact that it's running on a different CPU core altogether means that like observability is super bad as well, right? Like,
Oh,
how do you
interesting.
break into that? Like, how do you break points into that code or whatever? Because it's not the, it's like not even the same executable. It's basically like a GPU, right? Like a GPU, you compile the shader and like shuttle it over the GPU. Same kind of thing with those other things. Right?
Gotcha. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. And you also had to like manually manage the communication. I think the only communication was DMA, which I guess doesn't seem that bad, right? You like map a little chunk of your main memory and say that like that's the little chunk that the particular other SPU can see, and then I don't remember exactly how, because I never actually had to deal with that stuff. I just like heard people complaining about it over lunch. You know?
It was just like a mind-blowingly different architecture than people were used to, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think the closest analog to that around the time was I guess sound cards and other DSP type things, because you would basically do something very similar for sound cards.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I think it's the sorting, because I can just kill it with one. And actually, you can't feel it, but there's like a many second lag. Actually, you can see it on the return there, like the click, the go, and then when it hits the top here, it pauses for.
Almost. That seems very strange. Well,
no, because well, maybe it should be a pretty straight line, but I feel like the algorithm is doing significantly more work and throwing the thing you have to sort gets longer just because there's more trash nodes in it. Every step you take still adds like, a lot more. It's probably like four times as many nodes in here this time versus like.
Yeah, I would love to visualize. I think we mentioned this before, but visualizing the path would be kind of, or the sort of search space would be interesting.
I'm in.
Because with a straight line, the A star should really search just literally the straight line, right? Or something, or like a thin channel around a straight line towards the target.
That's a great point. Yeah,
I would think that would be what would happen.
I agree. I wonder how extremely inefficient this algorithm is. for one thing, and
that's probably the big issue, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't even know how fast sort in JavaScript is, let alone that I'm doing like calculations in it. Really, like we should be amortizing all of this in advance if possible.
Yeah. Well, heaps are fun to write.
Oh, man. I might. Should we draw the line at writing a basic data structure? I guess if it's not in JavaScript, it's not basic.
We'd have to get it. I mean, I'm happy to get a priority queue from another library. The heap is the thing. Just you probably remember this from computer science class, but it's like it's a power of 2 length array, where the first element is the very top. The next 2 elements are the 2 children of the first one. The next 4 elements are the 4 grandchildren of the root.
Oh yeah.
And then the next 8 elements are the great grandchildren. And then you always know if you're like on a particular node, like index in that array, you know deterministically where your 2 children are and where your parent is. And you can do that with like basic arithmetic, right? And then you can like that's basically how you can avoid having the actual tree structure, because it is modeling a tree. Like a heap is just a tree, but you can do it with like, because it's like a balanced power of 2 tree all the time. You can just use that like array of indices. That was like a kind of a neat data structure. But I'm happy to just grab a priority queue from NPM if you want.
Maybe. Let's visualize it first. That's really what I want to see. Okay, so every time we call discover, we overwrite nodes. But before that, after we've discovered, the Pathfinder object actually does have a full map of what it...
All the nodes, Yeah.
Everything it looked at, yeah. So this only worked for one. How if I do this twice, oh man, was this working? I guess everything was running in serial, so it was fine. Okay.
Yeah, what we need is like some way of persisting the pathfinding and then getting rid of it when we know that we don't want it anymore. So, because Pathfinder Discover only gets called like at one point in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to draw it while the game is simulating, we need to store the contents of its computation somewhere.
Oh, right, because I'm reinstantiating this for each loop. I mean, and it needs the map. So yeah, okay, great. But that is pathfinder.nodes, and that's really easy to pull out. Excellent.
Yeah,
do we have...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to check out what our debug draw was doing. Nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, in the pilot system, you could just, like, have a global variable that's like, this is the last time we created a Pathfinder, and we're just going to draw it and leave it there the entire time. And then the next time it pathfinds, we're going to just... Or, like... Oh, yeah, you could totally do that, too.
Done.
Yeah.
God, we could even export... Can I export a lot? No,
I would just do the debug draw in here, because you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
In an update? Is that kosher?
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely.
Okay.
That's what all the other systems are doing.
That's fair, and I guess... All right, wait, debug draw changed, and I forgot how it worked.
You pass in a lambda.
And I love
it.
it.
Just return an array of, yeah.
That's such a good one, man. Cool. And it's on the game object, so I can just look for it.
Yeah, and then the lambda will never get called if debug draw is not enabled.
Sweet. Okay, so if... Oh, right, I don't even have to check. I just call it. Oh,
yep.
Even better. Did I... Am I in the wrong system? No.
Yeah, I think curly braces is probably the right thing because we're going to do like a fair amount of logic in here, I think.
That's fair. So let's see. So we're going to say pathfinder.nodes.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I need to... It should be public, right?
Yeah. Is Pathfinder, is it not convinced that it exists all the time? Maybe
you know what?
Exclamation point.
I think it's not convinced that it's a Pathfinder object.
Oh, okay.
For one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see.
Would it just be a map? Are we going to map that into a bunch of renderables?
Yeah. Can I map? What do I get on an array? I get or on an object. I just get the key, right?
Map, you get the actual object, so you get a node.
I get the node. That's great.
Yeah. Sorry. This is an object. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was mistaken.
That's I need the key, so that's actually good.
Okay. Well, iterate. Well, then we just need to do it like a regular for loop here, I think,
Yep.
or a for n in. Yeah.
My for n.
Nice. Look at all this ridiculous boilerplate because JavaScript doesn't give it to us.
Yeah. Okay. That's a little too much.
I wonder why they haven't invented an easy way of doing this yet.
Isn't that weird? I don't know.
CoffeeScript had it. It had for blah of, which is super confusing because then you could never remember whether in and of which one you were supposed to use. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And let's see, renderables are just great. That's easy. Yeah.
You can do
let's go
circles. You
rect.
can do rects, whatever. Yeah.
We'll do some recs. God, we are running out of colors. We need some new primary colors.
Debug draw. Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, I've broken debug draw with that function. There we go. So if this is running over here, what do we want to see?
Well, if we're doing all the nodes, what we're going to see is the entire search space, which is actually not a bad place to start.
Yeah, I think that'll be helpful. We could.
What if it was a bunch of like
also draw the path?
What if it was a bunch of like alpha transparent gray dots centered at the node centers?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm digging it.
Or yellow dots or something.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the key for?
Because we need to get. Oh, I kind of wanted to write the score. I was thinking we would eventually want to write the score into the node. But right now the key is actually an XY string.
Oh, so that is the actual coordinate of the node.
That's the coordinate, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I picked a dumb data format, but
I mean, you have to do this in JavaScript because you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, do we need to transform those into floats in order for us to do math on them?
Yeah, and let's see. So these are tile positions.
Yeah.
And we probably need to transform them all the way into
world space positions. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so we can map over
tile math?
Split, huh?
I was going to say, oh, you want to... great idea. Holy cow.
Where we call maybe parse float or parse int on them and then multiply them by the tile size or something like that.
Is that all it is? Do we have to offset it by the origin first? Or unoffset it by the origin?
No, because these are all... Well, I don't know. It depends on what
we'll find out.
Node positions are.
It's a great question.
If they are just scaled versions of the world positions, then we're good.
Let's see. They come in... I probably did something silly. Let's see. Our destination pause. We get view to world space from the mouse position.
And we pass. Oh, we do tile chords on it right there. We do tile chords on line 3. So
for the path,
probably are in tile coordinates then. Yeah.
Yep. Because this is. Oh, this is scaling though. So they're in tile coordinates, not origin center tile coordinates, which is great.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here I do the origin, but this is honestly, I feel like I should be able to take that out.
I think the only reason why we do that is because the way that they're stored in the map data structure is this single array.
That's it. Yeah.
Because the beginning of the array is not the origin; it's the northwest corner, which is some negative, right? Yeah, that's the only reason why we had to do that offset.
So this is great then, because we take our P and never do anything with it and store it as these tile coordinates. Okay, cool. This should be called something else.
Okay.
Great. Okay, then yeah, I agree. We just multiply by tile size. Whoa. Man, I'm tripping. How do I map?
You're getting a value, which is like n. Yeah, and then you parse.
I'm not allowed to write ES6 at work.
What's that?
I'm not allowed to write ES6 at work, and I forgot some ES6 stuff.
Oh, tell me about that. Tell me about that.
I'm maintaining two apps that are written in Angular 1.2, which is a 2013 framework, and they have no Webpack. They get compiled with gulp. It's wild, but I accidentally wrote an ES6 function the other day, and it crashed the build server, and I was like, "Oh, you're missing some stuff." I'm allowed to rewrite this, but right now I have to be diligent.
Angular is funky.
Angular, there's a reason it didn't win, man.
Yeah.
Times tile size.
Yeah. Should the node just have the XY on it?
I thought about that. Maybe.
And, I mean, the only reason why you need it is for this.
Yeah, it was really for this, because otherwise it's the index.
Yeah.
If
you want to do a circle, which I think it's a radius at this point.
Yes. And then I liked your gray transparent.
Yeah.
It's not.
We need to import it, maybe.
Boom.
And then
that's not right. Wait, primitive. Yeah. Okay. Right, and then. Oh, does this just need to think that it's a renderable?
And then I think it's fill style, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Or just style? I don't remember. Okay, cool.
Whoa! You see that?
No, I can't see it.
Oh, man. Well, for a frame, it rendered something completely bonkers.
Okay.
I'll try to just put more in here so you see. Okay, so
oh yeah, I saw it. Like.
It's a full circle. Cool. Okay, great. That's something.
Why aren't they continuously rendering? Because aren't we replacing the Pathfinder every single frame? Is that what's happening?
Yep. Let's hold on to this. This is a nice memory optimization. Even we don't need that.
Yeah.
Okay, now what?
So we need to turn debug draw on. I think.
Thanks. Okay, too faint. Let's make them a little smaller so they're. Okay, that's silly.
Okay, so this is good, right? We have this is fantastic. Oh, and look, it skips the. I'm actually curious why they seem offset. Is it that? Oh, I think we need to add half
tile size,
of a tile to each of those, right? Plus
add,
tile size.
Add or subtract? Probably add.
I think it's add.
Yeah, that's on the money. Yep.
Yeah. So there is something wrong with our A star, right? It's the search space is way off.
Huge.
It looks like it's doing straight Dijkstra right now, right?
I made Dijkstra's, yeah.
And it's doing the opposite thing on the way back, which is funny, right?
It's doing what do you mean the opposite thing?
If you look at the return path, it's searching like. Oh, never mind. It's doing this. It's doing the same thing.
It's around the center, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's something with our star that's not our A star heuristic is not working. This is great.
Now, I've got a really easy one. Is it possible that I sorted these backwards? Because if it's backwards, it's nope, that's much worse. Now it's searching the whole map.
Yeah. What is distance absolute value, and should we maybe be negating it?
Ooh.
If distance is never negative, then we're.
I think distance could definitely be negative. Let's. Where do we set that? I mean, this could be anything. Great question.
No. We don't want it to be absolute value. We want it to have a notion of.
No, because this should be as the crow flies difference between the point and the target. So it should be positive
all the time. Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, this should always. Oops. Yeah, if this is negated, I bet it messes up the whole algorithm.
Oh, I don't think it matters. Vec2.distance is going to be the square root of something, so it's always going to be positive. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Okay. Let me take this back to my dumb one too. Let's make sure score isn't doing something funny in here. Hey.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I mean, this makes sense. It's just that score.
So maybe this is where we need to drop in a constant. Like we do want to sort by score, but we want to prioritize distance, and that's what that was doing, right? A star is like, is it amplifying distance or is it minimizing distance with the k times distance?
So score is like how long the path already is.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we're gonna prioritize shorter paths even if they're moving away from the target. Right? Because the score really is yeah, score is like how long the path is that you've accumulated. And
I wonder. Right, and score and distance are both actually in pixels. Which
are we accumulating
nice.
score? Is score like
we
climbing?
do? We accumulate it here, which is we take the current score.
Yes.
Yeah. And we do it in two places actually. So we update the score. If the neighbor node score is greater than current score, we backfill neighbor node with the smaller value because we found a better path.
Is it that line 140 needs to be neighbor node.score plus neighbor node.distance is greater than current.score plus score plus the distance? Like we're basically saying if the cost is the full calculation. Cost is both the length of the current path plus the distance of the proposed node to the target. That's the full cost.
I thought the score was supposed to be distance independent though, and you wrap them together in the cost.
If you look it up in Wikipedia, it doesn't separate. The score is like the kind of combination of those two things. Well, you might be right because F score is G plus H. The G score is the length of the path. The H score is the distance, and the F score is. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's basically tentative G score is the G score current plus the distance.
This is cost, right? Yeah.
That is the cost, but I'm looking above that where it says tentative underscore G score.
Yeah.
Is defined as the G score.
The weight of the edge.
Okay, so you're right. This is you did implement this thing.
I think I implemented that. I just implemented the wrong sorting function. I was looking at some other pseudocode that was clearer than this.
Okay.
Must not have been on Wikipedia though.
Because that looks right. I wonder what would happen if we used a more complex map, though. That's where I would think it would get a little bit weird, but yeah.
Well, let's find out.
I mean, this looks pretty.
Excuse me. This is a problem.
Does the Pathfinder need to get blown away?
Yeah, when the map changes. Pilot system.
Oh, yeah.
Or pathfinder.map not equal to map.
And that'll do like referential comparison there. Yeah.
It should be. I mean, we want it to be object equality for that because we're not.
Right.
Cute. Back to this, huh? Did I? Oh, I probably put the function back. Pathfinder. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just distance before, right?
Yeah, but why? I don't understand why this is the case, though. It's very odd.
Because
what if I? Yeah, I just want to.
okay,
like,
you're just gonna like weight it.
I want to see what it's like weighted. Yeah. Is the answer like it does nothing?
It could be because we're multiplying by 24. Is that the problem?
Right. So, oh, is it really? Is it that silly? That actually looks a lot more like what I expected.
Is distance in tile units or is it in pixels?
I thought distance was in pixels. But this looks a lot better, doesn't it?
It does.
That is how you would have to search that.
Yep. Can we actually? I think we have a units problem. Yeah, I think that. Can we actually take a look at where we calculate distance and just double check?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, distance is
tiles.
Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense. Okay.
Okay, so we were actually right. We were deeply underweighting distance. Like distance was an infinitesimal addition to the score.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's really kind of up to how you want to represent this, because like right now everything is in tile coordinates, and if that's the case, then maybe score should just be tile coordinates, and this line 124.
Yeah.
That should be 1, and that should be square root of 2. Yeah, and that's it.
Yep. And I think we're right back to the same out. Yep.
Okay, this looks correct.
That looks a lot better. Because this
struggling to catch
up. It's having such a tough time. That is great.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to see, right?
And this is fine too.
Yeah. Great.
Oh,
I love this. This is amazing.
Oops.
I don't know what happened there. Did it crash or did it just?
It's unclear. Okay. I'm just gonna let's start a new tab and let me try to break it again. To be honest, it seems like it's handling it.
Is it maybe if they're all over the place? They're coming from a bunch of different places.
I don't know. I mean, it's slow, but it's doing it.
I mean, it was way better than before, even with the stuff, right?
I mean, it was even just this was a problem before because it searched the whole map.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
and this is
cool.
the savings that the star gives us, right? That adding that little distance heuristic in there is basically what does it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Neat. Wow.
This is so rad.
It's really cool. This is a good visualization too. I don't think this is a bad one.
Can you make the dot smaller?
Smaller, yeah. I can.
What if you did 1/8? Is that too small?
Let's find out. No, it's nice.
Yeah, cool.
I was thinking it'd be cool to pick the path here too.
Oh yeah, we could totally do that.
We should
just connect the path using a line with the same color or slightly darker black, something like that.
Mm-hmm. We are going to let that. But what I have to do is I have to actually save the path every time we do it, which is annoying.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, I can wait. I can do the JavaScript thing. I love that works.
Oh. Wow.
It's terrible, right?
Yeah, or you can make the Pathfinder stateful and...
I was kind of like not feeling that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Totally fine.
Especially because, no, it can't be because we need to do this a bunch, right?
Yeah.
whatever. So let's see here.
Do we want to? If we're storing current path, should we maybe just copy nodes out as well, or like do like a clone of nodes rather than keeping the pathfinder as a global?
I guess the problem is that we'd have to actually go into Pathfinder nodes and save it every time we did this versus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Yeah.
I know it's gross though. Let's see.
Wait, why is Pathfinder stateful in the first place?
I don't know. I thought it'd be like an object that would live on something, but it turns out really like dropping the map in there is kind of the only thing.
Okay. Yeah. And then nodes is never reused inside Pathfinder. It's just
it is. Well, it's that we pass it to this get neighbors function, which is also living in here. It's like at least internal. It's internally useful.
Oh, I see. We're like sneakily passing that as a parameter by setting it on the on the object.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little skeptical that this should be a class rather than a function, but whatever.
Yeah, dude. I wrote this in two 2-hour chunks.
Oh yeah, no. That's fine. We're just trying to like shave a yak for debug draw.
Yeah, but I agree. This is I've seen clear classes. This is informed by a couple of strange Wikipedia articles.
Cool. So let's. I think because we're at the hour or the 2 hours, we can maybe do the line later on tonight or tomorrow or something like that. It'll be very satisfying itch to scratch. The question I have for you: you mentioned next 2 Sundays, you will be a traveling man.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to reschedule? I think I can hack it. Or would you prefer? Like, are your weekends totally full? Is the question.
I'm taking 2 weekend trips, so my Saturdays are also gone. So let's just. I could do Friday the 24th. I've got free.
Okay.
So if we wanted to do next Fridays as the replacement for Sunday stream, I could do that.
Okay. Yeah, let's pencil that one in and then see how it goes from there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, otherwise I would have been like, let's do Saturday instead. But
yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm going to the woods. It'll be fun. But yeah.
Yeah, don't program while you're in the woods.
I intend to not bring a laptop to the Sierras. That would be bad.
Fantastic. All right. Well, nice work today. This was really cool, and I love the visualization. It's going to be really cool when the path is there as well, right?
This is so sick. Yeah. I really love it. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe one reason to make the Pathfinder stateful is we could have a bunch of the Pathfinder could be on the pilot itself, and then we could debug draw each pilot if we have multiple tanks, right? Like eventually it'll get there. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice.
Very cool.
All right. I will see you
next Wednesday
in a week. And
in a week.
Enjoy the weekend off then.
I will. I'm gonna get some nature in me.
Right.
Jeff, have a good weekend. Enjoy your beignets.
Yeah.
I noticed they haven't arrived yet, so they must be being pipingly hot prepared.
I actually don't know if it's actually happening tonight. I didn't follow the I see. Bunny very kindly said it's after 9. I don't want my sister to drive out after 9 though.
Oh no. Well, yeah. Where's she? Is she driving far?
She's driving from El Cerrito. It's like 20 minutes.
I drove to El Cerrito today. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's worth it for my enjoyment of her beignets. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
You could drive to El Cerrito.
Really, the thing that should happen is exactly as I should go there, but I don't want to get in the car right now. So
fair enough. It's after 9.
I'm going to tell her not to come out. Basically, is what the thing is.
All right. Well, beignets in your future, I hope.
Yeah. Hopefully.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm gonna stop the Twitch. Okay. Goodbye, Twitch.
All right. Yeah, Twitch.